Sounds like an armored car job.
It's only a movie.
There was no driver in the car.
Welcome to my film fest!
It's only a movie.
This is the Miscellaneous Film Fest podcast, where it doesn't have to make sense. Obviously, there's a reason why I've grouped these films together to make a little mini film festival that's curiously curated. That is coincidentally curated, I should say, based on one particular actor or crew member, or perhaps a type of food that everybody's eating, or a special holiday, or I just typed a word into the search bar of Tubi or some other streaming service, and it kicked out all these movies, and I went, movies that seemed to be completely unrelated, and I said, all right, what if I type in gasoline? Nothing. What if I type in parrot? Nothing. What if I type in car? I get here's what came up when I type in car. I get Cop Car from 2015, starring Kevin Bacon. The Car from 1977. Blue Car, 2002. Armored Car Robbery from 1950. Khrustalyov, My Car from 1998. Dude, Where's My Car from 2000. The Sleeping Car Murder from 1965. The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun in 2015. I think this is how it should go. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna watch these movies. This is how this works. My name is Jason, and I am an avid film nerd. I am kind of an addict for watching movies. Any second of spare time I have, I'm watching a movie or trying to find a movie to watch. One of my favorite things to do is just like this. It's to type a random word in to the search bar and see what comes up. Or, in the course of looking for a specific movie, checking out all the other recommendations or all the other titles that my search brings up at the same time. What I'd really love to do, like when I find all these really cool movies or these weird, unexpected movies, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have a mini film festival? Like, not a whole week or a whole weekend, but just in my own time. I just typed in car, and some of them I'm instantly looking forward to. The first one, Cop Car from 2015, directed by John Watts. I'm looking at the cover, and other than Kevin Bacon dressed as a cop, I don't know what to expect. I'm not reading the synopsis first. I'm guessing first. It looks like there's two young people that are hard to make out underneath a very large bust of Kevin Bacon, large profile of Kevin Bacon. I want to guess that these two kids are in trouble, and these two kids get into trouble, and for some reason the solution is to steal a cop car, and Kevin Bacon is an asshole cop who, I'm going to guess it's his cop car. This is total speculation. His car got stolen, and he's going to take the law into his own hands and hunt down these two kids. The actual synopsis is, two kids find themselves in the center of a deadly game of cat and mouse after taking a sheriff's cruiser for a joyride. Nailed it! Yeah, let's listen to the trailer to Cop Car.
We're almost to the woods. Damn, what? The cop car.
Do they just find the cop car?
There's no one in there. No way.
Oh, yeah.
Try this one.
Awesome.
What if someone
So,
sees us?
they just found it. They happen to find keys in it.
We'll just tell them we're cops.
Good idea.
And these guys look like they're about 10 years old. And then they just put the lights on and go blazing through an open field.
See how fast we can go.
This almost looks like it could be a fun kids movie of them just cutting loose. This looks great. It's rated R. Oh no.
Boys, I know you can hear me. You are in a whole lot of trouble. What we're looking at is a felony offense. Did you open up the trunk?
Are you a bad guy, Sheriff?
Oh, it's the sheriff. Okay. So there's a dead body involved. This looks fun. This looks like it's going to be a good mystery. All right, so Kevin Bacon's a crooked cop. He's done something awful. There's a dead body in the trunk of the car, which you find out from the trailer. The first few minutes of that trailer where the kids are doing donuts in an open field in a cop car, going 100 miles down the highway. This looks like so much fun. And I'm wondering how that's going to play out. There being a murder involved. And now these kids are involved in a murder situation. So next is The Car, 1977. Directed by Elliot Silverstein. This just shows... it's exaggerated. But it shows what looks like a giant... the hood of a giant car. With headlights beaming out. And almost like it's surmounting a hill and about to come down on three figures who are trying to run away from it. So I'm really hoping this is a car that comes to life. I'm hoping this is a predecessor to Stephen King's Christine. Let's take a look. The film is set in the fictional Utah community of Santa Ynez, which is being terrorized by a mysterious black coupe that appears out of nowhere and begins running people down. Yes! Yes! Alright, 2 for 2. I'm a little excited about this, actually. Let's listen to the trailer for 1977's The Car. It starts out driving through like a sepia-tone tunnel.
Evil has visited the earth in many forms.
Oh yes, okay.
Now it returns as the car.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, 2 cyclists just got ran off of a bridge.
Driver in the car.
That's like
Car possessed.
racing through a rodeo. Trying to
I know why you
run down
didn't go into the
spectators.
cemetery. The ground was hallowed.
Oh, it's like a demon. Yes, it's evil. It's a demon car. Just driving cops off the road into cars that burst into flames for no reason.
Who knows what it wants?
This actually looks like
They all know
the
nothing
Mentor,
can stop
the Mentor car from Cars, the animated Pixar movie.
We can't let him through no matter what.
There's nowhere to turn,
The car, he's in here.
nowhere to hide, no way to stop the car.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. That looks great. And now I need. It says it's a coupe. I need to look up. This is a Wikipedia break. So it's a 1971 Lincoln Continental Mark III. The character I'm thinking of from Cars was Doc Hudson, who was a 1951 Hudson Hornet. And in 1977's The Car, it's a 1971 Lincoln Continental. What other movies? The first notable appearance of the Continental Mark III is in The Car. Oh! And in 1971, the Continental Mark III was prominently featured in The French Connection. So, what? Now here's a rabbit hole that I could easily fall down. If there were like 5 or 10 movies that all featured, a Lincoln Continental at all, or Lincoln Continental Mark III, I would do an individual separate Lincoln Continental film festival, mini film festival. The next episode would be welcome to my Lincoln Continental Film Festival, which I don't think we need, but that's sort of where this podcast is going. Is if I can sink my talons into something, any fact that connects a whole bunch of otherwise miscellaneous, disconnected, disparate movies, and make a little film festival out of it. That's what's fun for me. That's, if I ever actually get to do this in real life, that's what you can expect for sure. Next is 2002's Blue Car, which was directed by Karen Moncrief. I mean, it's just a woman's face turned to the side, smiling, and she's like the highlights are really pumped up, so it's sort of like blue toned black and white. And I mean, she's smiling. I get the feeling that this is gonna be kind of a somber story, that's something that she's going to overcome a situation one way or the other. The most generic plot point, I think it is just like a slice of life story that she's gonna come out on top. Gifted 18-year-old Meg has been abandoned by her father and neglected by her hardworking mother. Left to care for her emotionally disturbed younger sister, her world begins to unravel. She finds an outlet in writing poetry and support from her English teacher, Mr. Oster. But what started out as a mentoring relationship begins to get a bit more complex. All right, and now here's the trailer for Blue Car from 2002.
Want to ride?
Yep. Oh.
That's okay.
Oh, no.
But I'm not a poet.
Okay.
The past, everything that went before is a dry leaf.
So the teacher has picked her up in the car, encouraging her to be a poet, but also making out with her. And that's gonna make me super fucking uncomfortable.
You write about that day in detail.
He doesn't write that stuff.
Oh, is there like a bad boy peer? She's gonna be torn between someone age appropriate and completely inappropriately aged professor or teacher. Huh. That's
Blue Car.
well, that's the trailer for Blue Car. I don't know. I think we'll see. We'll see if I am the curator of all of these film festivals. So even though I may turn them on, I have the authority to walk out in the middle of them or just cancel them from the film festival altogether. And certainly inappropriate behavior between adults and kids, which by age alone is fucking sexual assault. I don't find that entertaining. And that's not something I'm gonna watch or promote. So yeah, so we'll see. You're on notice, Blue Car. Let's move along to the next film. Armored Car Robbery from 1950. Oh, wow. I mean, this is just a stunning poster. Just absolute classic, like, film noir with a showgirl tugging on the lapels of a man in a suit. Another man in profile, kind of standing behind them with a gun drawn. The stick-up that stunned the nation. I'm really hoping this is based on a true story. I think it's good. I think it's all pretty self-explanatory. This guy's gonna rob an armored car. She's in cahoots, and the gentleman with the gun is either a rival or, when was this made? 1950. Most likely, the standards of the time. He's gonna be a police officer set to bring both of them to justice. Who's in this? Charles McGraw, Adele Jurgens, and William Tallman. I got a feeling Adele Jurgens is going to turn out to be quite the femme fatale. I think she's going to be the cornerstone of this movie. But we'll find out. What is the description? The film tells the story of a well-planned robbery of an armored car when it stops at a sports stadium. Oh. Yet the heist goes awry, and a tough Los Angeles cop named Cordell, Charles McGraw, is in hot pursuit. Nailed it. I'm gonna say that's 3 out of 4. I'm not gonna say I got Blue Car right. Alright, I couldn't find a trailer for Armored Car Robbery, but there's a short clip. So let's listen to that.
Gotta get patched up, Dave. Can we stop someplace?
We'll stop when we get to the shack
Guess we
in
got
about 10 minutes.
4 guys in a car.
Hey, there's something up ahead.
Oh, they're trying to skip the roadblock.
That's a roadblock. Slow down.
Well, I'm not going through any roadblocks.
Keep going.
Get nailed, not me. I'm turning around.
The motorcycle cop has stopped them.
What's the idea? You can't turn around here.
I didn't want to get mixed up in that traffic. See, we're a little late
Oh,
for our
shit.
shift.
Get in that line and
Okay.
keep moving.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite parts of any movie where they have to bluff their way through a roadblock.
Nice going, you knucklehead. Now keep it
I
lying.
was like, gonna have a clever lie, a clever way of
In a minute.
fooling the cops or fooling security.
We're all the champ, you hear me?
There's one guy in the back who's obviously shot. He looks like shit, and they're trying to rush to get him to someplace where they can patch him up.
We gotta bluff this out.
This isn't gonna help.
948 Lemoyne Street.
Now they're stuck in line while the cops are going through everybody's car.
502.
Oh no. Just trying not to die before they get through.
Okay.
131
Okay, here we go.
Close from La Brea. 42. Did you receive your call?
What's the matter?
Where are you heading?
Terminal shipyards.
Trunk open?
I don't know.
Let's have the keys.
Oh man, this is back in the days where, before cops needed a warrant to just open your car up and dig through it.
19 Roger.
What's this all about, officer? You looking for something?
Although I guess he asked for the keys to the trunk.
Notification has been made. 13, come in.
All right, move along.
Thanks.
Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Stay alive, mustache guy. Oh, there we go. All right. Shit. Well, now I have to watch this movie. I gotta know if mustache guy makes it. Okay. I was sincerely hoping that we would get a clip with Adele Jurgens in there. Adele Jurgens, by the way, I got on her IMDb, and we'll see how much I like Armored Car Robbery. But oh my goodness, her IMDb credits could make for a fantastic mini film fest of her own. She's in Woman from Tangier from 1948. She's in one called Runaway Daughters from 1956. What looks like maybe a Peeping Tom comedy. I don't know about that. Called Fighting Trouble. Girls in Prison from 1956. And what is this? Day the World Ended from 1955. All right. I think I'm going to add Adele Jurgens to the list. IMDb doesn't always do a great job of biographies, but her bio says, fewer dames were tougher on the 40s and 50s screen than leggy B-star Adele Jurgens, that tough-talking, plump-cheeked peroxide blonde who gave her fair share of tawdry trouble in backstage dramas, film noir, crime, pot boilers, and adventure yarns. She was just as headstrong at trying to bust out of the chorus lines and cheesecake parts to become a top-notch A-actress draw. She has a great bio. This actress sounds awesome. I don't know how soon it's going to happen. Maybe next, maybe not. There's going to be an Adele Jurgens mini film festival. And that's what we do. So if you're listening to this and you would like to curate your own mini film festival, and honestly, it could just be, these are my 5 favorite films, because the connection, the link connecting all the movies would be you, send me an email. Let me know. I'll have you on the show. You can co-host and tell us why you curated this list, what each film means to you, or in this case, it was just something you found. Like, I'm on pins and needles waiting to most likely become a fan of Adele Jurgens. But anyway, we gotta move on to the next movie. Khrustalyov, it's like someone talking to someone else. Khrustalyov, my car. It's a black and white poster. It's just basically a man's face and shoulders. He's wearing suspenders. He has a mustache. Kind of looks like Eddie Marsan, he was the evil orphanage director from Deadpool 2. He's been in a whole bunch of other things. He's a very acclaimed actor. Oh yeah, he's Jeff in Heartstopper. Heartstopper is a great show. If you like teen romance, that's mostly PG rated, and it's just tugs at your heartstrings. Heartstopper is a beautiful show. He's in the Amy Winehouse biopic that just came out. Okay, I feel bad that I have not seen enough of his work. Oh yeah, Going the other direction, he was in the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw movie. Oh, he's in The Limehouse Golem. Oh man. Okay, this is a credit, a film that a lot of people probably missed. But if you're into magic, into fantastical stuff, Eddie Marsan was in Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, a very fictional movie based loosely on things that really did happen. Two English gentlemen pursuing magic as a real art, as a real science unto itself. They could learn spells, learn how to control the elements in the name of the pursuit of knowledge and national defense. This is a fun tangent, but the poster for Khrustalyov, My Car, looks like Eddie Marsan is in it. He is not. However, those are some recommendations for movies and shows that he is in that I highly recommend you check out. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and Heartstopper especially, but also Deadpool 2. So let's listen to the trailer for Khrustalyov, My Car. All right, and there are subtitles for this trailer, so I'm just going to do my best to read out the subtitles so you can follow along. Same as it evermore shall be, and as it was of old, a horsey and a little boy battle with the cold. My whole life I thought my grandma wrote those lines, but she wasn't a poet. Funny that. May I see the military doctor, Yuri Klinsky? Oh, it's this big bald guy. It looks like maybe he's a military doctor. Lots of close-ups, lots of dark shadows. It's filmed in black and white. And with all the strained faces and kind of weird angles, it looks like it might be a really dark comedy or dark satire. I have no idea how the title plays into the actual movie, but I'm into this. The description is: military doctor General Klinsky is arrested in Stalin's Russia in 1953 during an anti-Semitic political campaign, accused of being a participant in so-called doctor's plot. Okay, so dark comedy for sure. Maybe quite uncomfortably dark. It goes on to say it was originally released in 1998 and is regarded as the inspiration behind Armando Iannucci's The Death of Stalin, and remains one of Alexei German's most enduring and satirical films amongst his exclusive body of work. I like a good satire. It puts me in mind of, not from the way it looked, and not from what the plot seems to be, but when you talk about dark comedy, I think of La Vita è Bella, Life is Beautiful, Roberto Benigni. When that first came out and I saw it, I thought it was a really fun foreign film. I thought it was a fun comedy. I liked the lightheartedness of it. But going back years later and watching it again, I was uncomfortable with how lighthearted it was about life in a concentration camp. And this guy just sort of floating around, making mischief and gags for his son, while everyone around him was starving and suffering and staring death in the face. Yeah, if this is anything like that, I'm ready to approach it for what it says it is, as a comedy. But we'll see. And as you can tell, this doesn't seem to have much to do with any kind of car. And that's why Miscellaneous Film Fest is always loosey-goosey. It is because the word in a search engine brought up this movie, not because it is strictly honoring the spirit of the search word, in this case, car. Okay, so next on the list, oh man, is Dude, Where's My Car from 2000, which, if you haven't seen it, I gotta admit, it's a dumbass comedy. like stoner comedy. It's dumb fun, and watching these guys wholeheartedly launch themselves into their roles. It's let's see who's in this. It stars Ashton Kutcher, don't miss him, and Sean William Scott. Oh yeah, he's been doing steady work. I mean, Goon's actually a really good kind of action comedy given that there's a lot of fights and a lot of beatdowns, where he plays a hockey enforcer, sort of the hockey team member that does most of the violence or most of the blocking to beat up on the other team. And then its sequel. He's also in Super Troopers 2. And if I remember right, he is certainly the comedy highlight of Dude, Where's My Car? But anyway, for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, I think we'll get a good sense of it from the trailer. Here you go.
Last night, Jesse and Chester had the most unforgettable time of their lives. But this morning...
Dude, where's my car?
Oh, man.
Remember a thing.
It's Chrissy Boner, the hottest of the hot.
Hi, Jesse. I had a really good time with you last night.
Have you seen my car?
Well, I saw the back seat.
Oh, I'm talking about the whole thing.
Now.
Yeah, it's bikini pool parties, strip clubs, wet t-shirt contests.
Is to find out what they did and who they did it to. Dude, you're a dude.
Oh, that's right.
Last night.
And transphobia. That's what happens when you watch a movie in 2000.
We don't remember. We are the recipients of instructions from outer space.
Oh, that's right. There's a sci-fi element to this.
Hey.
Are you Jesse and Chester?
I don't know why.
Perhaps we will give you pleasure.
That's us. Right here.
If you give us a
All right.
transfunctioner.
So,
Century Fox presents.
this is from 2000, and there's definitely 2000 era humor and sensibilities. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. So yeah. 2000s era sense of humor, transphobia, racism, obviously misogyny, the broiest of all those things. Under the guise of ignorant stoners. Oh man. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm wincing because I think I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna make a friend watch it with me. Be like, all right, let's debrief about this. I don't know. We have to learn from our mistake. We have to learn from the past. Let's see what was next on the list. Ooh, the sleeping car murder. All right, that's got to be set on a train, like the sleeper car. This is from 1965, and on the cover. So the main thing is a man's face with a cigarette in his mouth. I'm guessing that's Jacques Perrin. Oh, and this is a French movie. Okay. And then behind him on the left, a woman's face, who top billing, Catherine Allegre. And then this is all black and white, but above his head are 4 orange circles, almost like bullet holes. Then there's the title beneath his head, and beneath that is the silhouette of a corpse with 5 holes in it. So I'm guessing someone gets shot on the sleeping car of a train. The French title on the poster here is Compartiment Tueur, which means compartment murderers. I think somebody gets shot several times in a sleeping car on a train. Ooh, this is gonna be like an Agatha Christie kind of thing. Let's check out what the description says. 6 people travel by train overnight from Marseille to Paris. When the train arrives at its destination, one of the passengers, a girl, is found dead in a sleeping berth. Ah! The police, led by Grazi, investigate the other 5 passengers. Oh, the only passengers in the sleeping car. Okay. Well. Suspecting that one of them was responsible. However, as the investigation is stepped up, the other passengers start turning up dead. Oh, so, I mean, is it going to be, and then there were none? It is then up to the last remaining 2 to solve the case before they become the next victims. Well, I'm intrigued. I'm into it. I'm excited about this. All right, let's check out the trailer, which is in French, but I will do my best to offer translation. So it's just cops running around town. 1 compartment, 6 travelers, 6 victims? Question mark. 6 suspects? A crime from a sadist. Oh, okay. This is playing almost like a giallo. 3 cops. Commissioner Tarkin, the boss. Inspector Graziani, Grazi, and rookie Jean-Luc Gabe. And then it says 13 witnesses. Okay, this is all in black and white. I'm loving the 60s music. I'm loving this, like, surf rock guitar. Need lots of... Okay. This looks like a lot of fun. I know I am going to be into this for no other reason than the fashion and the music. So I am already sold. Some of these might stay, some of these might not. I might, if there's a big like chunk missing, it's because there was a movie there that I changed my mind about. Let's see, what is next on our list for the Car Mini Film Festival? Ooh. Next one is from 2015, directed by Joan Safar, and it is titled The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun. And that is almost enough to sell me. It stars Freya Mavor, Benjamin Biolay, and Elio Germano, and Stacey Martin. So, just from the title and the poster is the title in big block letters, and then a woman in kind of a professional dress / sexy trench coat with a shotgun. She's got heels and sunglasses on, and it looks like, I don't know what to get from this. It looks like she's probably had enough. It looks like she's laying down the law. This is definitely sort of a character who, first act, seems to have their shit together, and then by the time we get to the turn into the third act, she's been through some shit, she's had enough, she's pulled her glasses and her gun out of her car, and is going to bring justice by the conclusion of the film. So, well, yeah, let's see. What does the description actually say? And real quick, this is another French film. Drama, mystery, thriller. French, Belgian. I'm excited. It says, she's the most beautiful, most short-sighted, most sentimental, most perplexing, most obstinate, most untrustworthy, and most troubling of heroines. The lady in the car has never seen the sea. On the run from the police, she keeps telling herself that she's not crazy. Only... ... Alright, now, this says it's a drama, mystery, thriller. From that description, I'm getting the sense that maybe there's a sanity element to the plot. Perhaps, like split personality, which is not how DID works. Not the movie, how the movies play it up. Or memory loss. Like maybe she has spotty memory and blacks out when she does something violent. Or she's being gaslit. That someone else is fucking with her head, and she's just fighting back. Let's check out the trailer. I'm digging this music. So this is what looks like our lead character. There's a little girl, so I don't know if it's flashbacks to when she was younger. Oh, nope. We got domestic violence. Got three men who are probably antagonists. And of course, some steamy sex scenes are being teased in this trailer. And abuse. Okay. Not as excited. Oh, but I think we might have another body in the trunk situation here. This looks like it's gonna be a whole lot of DV. It ends with her saying, "I think I'm going mad." I don't know about this. I have a constant critique. Like when I write anything on Letterboxd, I will use the hashtag domestic violence or sexual assault is not entertainment. If you're doing a movie that tells the story and engenders empathy for people who've gone through that kind of horrific situation, that's one thing. And the impact of showing it helps communicate their story by illustrating what they went through. But if you're making something that's more for entertainment, like a mystery thriller, there are so many other things you can do besides sexual assault. I really hope that's not what's going on here. I really hope that's not in the movie. I don't need to see it. I don't find it entertaining. I find it very off-putting. It'll make me turn off a movie if it's just indulgent, or at least skip past it. I don't want to see that. Same with beating up on kids. I'm thinking about Cop Car, the very first movie I talked about. Like, those kids are really young. I hope Kevin Bacon is chasing them and adults are trying to help them, and the story kind of hinges around their age being like how, and now the tension is he's reacting disproportionately and other adults are helping them. But if it's an R-rated movie of 10-year-olds versus killer cop Kevin Bacon, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Those are 8 movies on this list. I think 8 is an abundance of a film festival. And this all generated from just searching the word car. So I've got 8 movies to watch in my own little privately curated film festival, randomly curated film festival. And this is only the first half of the show. I'm going to check out these movies and come back with my reactions, with reviews, and some awards and critiques. Definitely best music. I think I'm going to... Oh, The Sleeping Car Murder is already in line for that. Who knows? Maybe if the music from The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun has the same kind of music that it had in the trailer, it could be there. Dude, Where's My Car? Man, it might get on there too, just for nostalgia, because I graduated high school in 2000, so all those songs are going to be very familiar to me. And then some miscellaneous awards. It's a Miscellaneous Film Fest podcast, some miscellaneous awards. Like, oh, for this one, definitely Best Car. Oh, there's definitely going to be an award for Best Car. Sorry, Dude, Where's My Car? You're not getting it. All right. So, if you are interested in any of these movies, pause the podcast here, go check them out, come back, hear my reactions. I'll be back after this word from our sponsor.
All of these soft drinks have caffeine, all of them. Surprised? Now you can't see it or smell it, but oh yes, it's there. 7-Up is light and refreshing, crisp and clean, and no caffeine. Never had it? Never will. Now don't you feel good about 7-Up? I'll be surprised if you didn't. Don't you feel good about 7-Up?
And we're back. We're back with the Car Mini Film Festival, which was a lot of fun. I gotta say, I really enjoy watching movies this way. Just having some random prompt, finding movies I never would have looked for, and certainly have never heard of. It's like discovering the diamond in the rough. It was a lot of fun. Not everybody made the cut. There was kind of a general suspense and crime thread that went through a lot of these movies. So I want to give honorable mention to the 2 films I decided not to include. That would be Khrustalyov, My Car, which is how I believe it's supposed to be said, and Blue Car. And I'll say this about the 2 movies that I chose to omit. Both of them were more vibes and or style. I feel like in both cases I didn't appreciate the films the way they should be appreciated. They were both good films, but I was definitely not the intended audience. The first one is set in Russia in the 50s, in Moscow, I believe. And I do think having a better knowledge of Russian history and being able to speak the language and pick up on nuances of wordplay, things would have helped me understand the humor or understand what was going on, because most of the time it felt kind of like a David Lynch movie. It's almost dreamlike, but just moving from one location to another or one setup to another and not necessarily understanding the context of why the action is shifting. Or what made it feel a little bit more awkward was I couldn't tell if it was being shot documentary style, because it was usually handheld cams, usually these really long one takes, these long single take shots that just traveled with the action, sometimes moving with one person and then another. Occasionally there would be main characters and extras staring directly into the camera or seemingly talking into the camera. So it had a voyeuristic feel, and I couldn't tell if I was supposed to be seeing this story through someone's eyes or just being a voyeur and dropped in. The other honorable mention that didn't get included was Blue Car, which, as you probably could have guessed from my assumptions, just looking at the poster and reading the synopsis, yeah, it didn't vibe with me. And to be fair, it was a good movie. It was a solid movie, written and directed by Karen Moncrief, with some great poetry in it. There are 2 very solid poems that are relevant to the plot, to the story, and are just solid poetry. So my hat off to Karen Moncrief for that. Blue Car, the title is a reference to the main character's father's car. She remembers it specifically because that's what he was driving when he left her sister, and her mother behind. This movie could also have been titled like My Senior Year or something more mundane, because it is definitely a slice of life movie. This young girl, Meg, the drama of her senior year of high school, going through loss of family, going through not really having a direction, not really knowing what she wanted to do career-wise or after college. And then, of course, the dramatic tension of both finding a mentor in her English teacher and the poetry contest he encourages her to enter, and then the Uji, the uncomfortable turn. The movie made me uncomfortable. I wouldn't feel good showing it to other people. And like I said, it being very much outside my experience, I wasn't able to relate to it that much. It didn't resonate with me other than just being uncomfortable. So, out of 8 films I was looking at, here are the 6 that I thought were perfect for a mini film festival. I put them in order of presentation. I'm going to run through the stories, try to avoid any spoilers, and then we'll move on to awards. This is the Car Mini Film Festival. First on the program, Armored Car Robbery from 1950. This was so much fun, and it's a great way to lead into the festival, because Armored Car Robbery is a quick, pulpy adventure story. It's 67 minutes long, so you can get into it, enjoy it, see the whole thing, and move on to the next movie. It's very white hat, black hat. It almost feels like a Western at some points. Everything just clicks into place. We're going to do an armored car robbery. The cops are going to chase us down. Something goes wrong. We've got to make quick moves to save the guy who's been shot. You might have remembered from the trailer. The best thing about the movie, though, seriously, is Adele Jurgens. She's not part of the robbery, but throughout the whole movie, she just stands out. She's poised. She has charisma. She lights up the screen when she comes on, and makes all these other guys look so stiff and dull. I can't wait to see more movies with Adele Jurgens in. Next, I can't believe this made the cut. Dude, Where's My Car? It is a dumb stoner comedy. And the funny part is, I think there's only a dog gets high. Okay, Dude, Where's My Car is rated PG-13, and it shows. There are definitely kid gloves on for this movie. Language-wise, oddly, for 2 guys who seem to just be chasing their girlfriends for sex, they treat it all euphemistically. It feels like it was written to be appropriate for high schoolers. This is a movie definitely geared towards high school boys. It's not perfect at all. It's certainly a time capsule of late 90s homophobia, misogyny, white privilege. Watching it through a 2024 lens, you just go, oh my goodness, how do we think this is funny? But I will say, part of the credit for this being enjoyable at all does go to Sean William Scott and Ashton Kutcher. They are, albeit dumb and oblivious, they are infectiously silly and infectiously positive. They do seem to have a dude bro kind of Pollyanna aura about them that they are just merrily bouncing from one challenge to the next. And the challenges in this movie are fittingly ridiculous. It packs a lot in, and if you're willing to turn your brain off, as obviously the characters have, you can just get high and have a good time with this. Next, The Car from 1977, which is a horror movie about a killer car terrorizing a small town in the deserts of Utah. It came out 2 years after Jaws, and I think it is riding that same vibe of some force of nature, like a giant shark. In this case, a 1971 Lincoln Continental Mark III. The action is all right. It's interesting because they give the car elements of personality. It does stalk. It does seem to get agitated. It does seem to have a bloodlust. But the human characters aren't just meat being fed into this murderous grinder. There's layers to the main characters are the police force in this town. Several of the officers are definitely not only experiencing danger and trying to fight back, but they're experiencing the loss of other characters who have been killed by the car. And the movie does get a little slow at some points because they're spending the time to show these characters processing grief, being overwhelmed by the loss of friends and neighbors. They're not just big, tough, gun-toting action guys. They are unexpectedly, and this was a delightful surprise for 1977, unexpectedly sensitive men who have real relationships with the people close to them. The script for The Car has more heart, and that's giving a lot of credit to what's otherwise kind of a cheap movie. But it was fun. I did like it, and I found out that this movie was made in 1977. In 2019, The Car Road to Revenge was released, and it is an intentional sequel to The Car. I have not seen it. It's on my list on Letterboxd. I look forward to checking it out. I look forward to checking it out. Hopefully it's just as much fun. Next we have, now we're getting serious. We're getting sort of the films that I gave higher ratings to. The more substantial, the more worthwhile films. The Sleeper Car Murder from 1965. French murder mystery. I was wrong. It's not an Agatha Christie thing. It is definitely a film for folks who like police procedurals. Watching it, I was surprised that the script seemed to be crafted around showing the police doing the actual work. It did feel like the pacing was a bit slow, but it was because the cops were going through and interviewing everyone they possibly could, and the film decides to show us bits of each of those interviews and see them piecing together the mystery of why a young woman has been found dead in the sleeper car of a train, strangled, and now passengers who are sharing that same sleeper car are starting to die off one by one. They are seemingly unconnected, so the police's search is to find sort of a through line of how did these people know each other? Why would a killer be willing to eliminate this group of people? And it really seems like they are completely disconnected, that a single motivation that leads to each of these murders can't be found. Also, it seems like the killer is one step ahead of the police the whole time. I will say a fun part of this for me was seeing, it was all shot in Paris, and seeing Paris in the 60s, the cars, the fashion, the architecture, it makes you feel like traveling to Paris. You really want to get in there and see, not the monuments as much as just the neighborhoods and the feel of it. There was a German word that I was thinking of when I was watching this called Fernway. Fernway is a nostalgia for a time or a place that you've never been to. So Paris in the 60s, obviously, never been there. It makes me smile. It makes me happy. I love it. I generally have a thing for the 60s. The cars, the music, the fashion, definitely not the politics, but I highly recommend The Sleeping Car Murder. Now, what I was talking about with all the wonderful scenery and style, Cop Car from 2015 takes place in rural Colorado, and most of the setting is along the highway in open fields. And having grown up in Kansas, I can tell you they did a great job of capturing the serenity and the peace and the emptiness of the plains. In a lot of movies, you'll kind of notice, especially movies that didn't have a very big budget, you'll notice when there's no music. But in Cop Car, a lot of the time, that absence of music or absence of orchestration was intentional and worked absolutely great. You could hear kind of the wind rustling through the wheat. You could hear birds. And given that it's about two little boys who are running away, they don't tell us why necessarily. We just catch them at the beginning of their adventure as they are just walking through a field, and then eventually being trapped far out on a lonely highway with a crooked cop in pursuit. The isolation of being in an open field, of being out on the highway in quote-unquote the middle of nowhere, that silence characterized that, and the emptiness of the scene was impactful. It didn't feel like something was missing. Without using a score, it let the silence underscore the stakes for our main characters, these two 10-year-old boys, given that the consequences of their stealing this car and driving out into nowhere are going to come without parental oversight, without witnesses, without Deus Ex Machina or some hero to show up out of the blue, because you can just feel they are miles away from anywhere. No one can hear them. No one's going to be coming down that road for hours, if not days. They are truly helpless to face Kevin Bacon and his choice of a mustache. Cop Car does do a great balancing act of writing kind of a Goonies, or what the movie I really thought of was Stand By Me, of young kids unprepared for what's going to come their way, and then kind of a gritty story about a corrupt cop who's going to chase them down. And I was worried about how that balance was going to work, especially because the movie's rated R. I thought, oh, fuck, is Kevin Bacon going to kill some kids? And as the movie kicks off, it seems fun. It seems lighthearted. It's mischievous. It's two little boys who probably play with RC cars have suddenly gotten the keys to a real-life cop car and no one to tell them no. And it's a blast. Watching them just go bananas with this car was so much fun. And knowing the rating, there's also this underlying tension of, okay, when things go wrong, how wrong are they going to go? And honestly, I made a note for the first hour or so of this movie, and it's only about an hour and a half long. Other than like cuss words and depictions of Kevin Bacon is a corrupt cop and has a stash of drugs back at his house. Other than that, it's like, why on earth is this R-rated? There's a lot of cussing, and I know there's limits, but I don't give a fuck. And then in the last half hour, that's when the turn happens, when the larger plot outside of the boys' adventure catches up with them, and there is blood and violence. There's R-rated blood and violence, but I was enthralled the whole time. Kevin Bacon, the two young boys, James Friesen Jackson and Hayes Welford, they all did a great job. You want to watch them. You're there with them. They are not only endearing but compelling, the three of them, and it was so much fun. So the final movie, the sixth movie in the Car Mini Film Festival is The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun from 2015. This is based on a novel from the 60s of the same name. Although originally in French. Another French movie. This was stylistically great. All the houses, the cars, everyone's wearing period inaccurately haute fashion. Just like some of the fashion designer went, I can do whatever I want with this. I can design things that are better than what they had at the time. And everybody just looks great. It is a very suspenseful movie. It certainly throws a bunch of red herrings at you and keeps you guessing. It's about a young woman, a secretary, whose boss asks her to finish transcribing this big report and suggests that she come to his house to do it because he needs it the next morning or the next afternoon right away, just before he flies off to the meeting where he has to present this. That's not as tawdry as it seems. She has a crush on him, but he doesn't seem to reciprocate. She goes there, meets his wife. They seem to have a connection. They've known each other from both working in the typing pool in the past. She works all night. The next day, she rides with her boss and his wife to the airport and is charged with taking the car back to their house before she gets a train or whatever back to her place. She decides, having never seen the ocean before, that she's going to go for a joyride and just take the car out for the weekend or however long until her boss comes back. But as she's traveling, everywhere she stops, she runs into people who say, oh yeah, I remember you from yesterday, or I remember you from last night. They start to present it as a he said, she said, where we as the audience don't know if the people she's running into, who have no reason to lie to her, are telling the truth or are mistaken, or if maybe her memory is bad. I was on the edge of my seat. It captured my attention the same way Cop Car did. And what really kept me going through the movie, along with the outstanding performances, was the music. The period music they worked into the storytelling was absolutely awesome. Working in tracks like After Laughter by Wendy Renee and Last Man Standing by Gianfranco and Gianpiero Rivabere from Django, Prepare a Coffin. So an old spaghetti western. But it fit. And when that sound comes in, I'm going to play a little bit for you right now. But when this starts, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I went, oh shit, it's about to kick off. I love it. I love it so much. So this is how I would recommend enjoying these movies if they sound interesting to you. Going from Armored Car Robbery, Dude, Where's My Car, The Sleeping Car Murder, Cop Car, ending with The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun. And now it's time to move on to the awards! These are arbitrary awards that most of them I just made up because I was having a good time, and I want to call out elements of each movie that I thought were fun, above and beyond just the quality of the movie itself, the filmmaking, and the performances. I had a great time with all of them. Our first award goes to Best Opening Credits. That is a craft unto itself, and The Sleeping Car Murder starts with full screen images of all the actors and their names shown over this amazing guitar track that I'm going to add here. Check this out. Isn't that awesome? That's so cool. And it gets you excited. It gets you ramped up for the movie. I'm ready to go right now. The next award is Best Use of Bubble Wrap. And that award goes to Pamela Withers, costume designer for Dude, Where's My Car? There's a scene where they run into a sci-fi cult, and the cult members are wearing their space suits to prepare for interstellar travel, and they are just hoodies and pants made out of bubble wrap. On one hand, silly, cheap, great way to come up with a joke costume that sort of undermines the purpose of the characters, but also the craftsmanship. Like, I would love to have one. I would love to be able to just take bubble wrap and craft it into clothes. That seems like it would take a lot of work, but it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Especially when, of course, our dumb main characters just start poking everybody and popping their space suits. Given that it's a car film festival, of course, there's going to be car chases. And in this case, the best car chase goes to the sleeping car murder. When they finally track down suspects who they think are the murderers, it's this fantastic car chase. And everyone's got stylish 60s cars racing through the non-grid roads of Paris. At one point, they run into a biker gang who, seeing that they're chasing somebody, jumps in to help them. And the shots they get are incredible, especially the POV from on the motorcycles, like nearly getting sandwiched by trucks, racing through tunnels. I was impressed, and I was surprised that non-digital cameras, film cameras, were taking these beatings and taking these turns and doing this great action. It was a lot of fun. So hats off to the sleeping car murder for that. But it's a French movie from the 60s, so not as ambitious or as garish as American movies, I'll say. So not any explosions. This film festival is pretty light on explosions. That being said, there were some exceptional explosions in the car. I won't give anything away. One explosion was very ambitious. It was the kind of thing that these days you wouldn't even dream of doing without CGI, especially the intent behind it. But they tried, and I gotta give them credit for that. The one that really stood out to me was about midway through the movie. Two patrol cars are chasing the car, the villainous car of the movie. The bad guy car does a 180, comes at them. The two patrol cars are now on the highway, driving side by side. There's a bridge between them, so they're going to trap this car. There's no way it can cross the bridge when both lanes have a patrol car in them. The car then does a sharp 90-degree turn, and then, breaking all the laws of physics, manages to flip itself so that it's spinning horizontally right at the two cars, hits both of them, rolls over them, causing them both to explode for no reason. As this devil car lands on its tires and drives away. It barrels into them, blows them both up, drives away unscathed. I mean, but it fits because there's a supernatural element to the story. I like that part of its supernatural powers is badassery. Going from one kind of explosion to another, our next award is Best Cunnilingus. Cunnilingus, a feature that needs to be in more movies more often. This award goes to Elio Germano in The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun. Half of the reason for this award was just because Cunnilingus was in the movie, so credit to the director and the writer and the author of the original book. Hopefully, books as well as movies need to have more Cunnilingus. So this is just a recognition of oral sex and women's pleasure being highlighted in a film. Actually, that would be a good... I now am going to Google Cunnilingus in movies because a Cunnilingus film festival needs to happen eventually. I mentioned Adele Jurgens and Kevin Bacon both doing great jobs in their respective movies. Adele Jurgens in Armored Car Robbery, Kevin Bacon in Cop Car. But I also want to give outstanding performances to both of them. Brent Spiner makes a cameo in Dude, Where's My Car? And he's incredible. I know we all love him as Data in Star Trek The Next Generation, but he was such a versatile actor. And in that show, they gave him opportunities to play different types of characters because here he was kind of getting pigeonholed into playing an android and being very stiff as an android would be, as we expect from quote-unquote robots. But he does accents. He has a great personality. He was the voice of Puck in the Gargoyles animated series. If you see his web series, Fresh Hell, which is kind of it's satirically autobiographical and has cameos from different friends and former co-stars of his from Star Trek The Next Generation. The guy's hilarious. His actual personality is such the opposite of Data, and he's so much fun. I was delighted to see him in this movie. One of the things where so many strikes against Dude, Where's My Car? But one highlight was getting to see Brent Spiner. I also want to give an outstanding performance award to Freya Mavor who is the lead in The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun, bringing all kinds of sensitivity and nuance to her performance. Also, being directed to mislead the audience or spread seeds of doubt, red herring nuances, and the way she handles moving from her romantic ambitions towards her boss to situations where she's suddenly in danger. Every part of her performance was terrific. That's all you really need to know, but I will say, additionally, there's the fact that she's Scottish, but her accent was flawless. I thought she was French the whole time. I was completely caught off guard to find out that she is, in fact, Scottish and has done mostly English language performances. So I'm excited to now dive into her filmography. Music. Music is one of my favorite things to catch in movies. I will pause a movie, track down, or get out Shazam, and find out what a certain song is. I go on iTunes and buy it. My iTunes list has almost exclusively things I've found in movies or movie soundtracks. So I want to give credit to Agnes Ollier, again, from Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun. Like I said earlier, the music, the 60s music, really helps establish the world, really helps establish the vibe, and was full of tracks that I hadn't heard before. Or the ones that I was excited to hear in this context. And finally, we couldn't do the Car Mini Film Festival without having an award for Best Car. This was, hands down, no questions asked, the 1964 Aqua Blue Thunderbird I know this movie has been scooping up all the awards for this festival, but this one could not be denied. The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun. This beautiful car is a key part of the plot because it's unmistakable. There's nothing else like it on the road between Paris and Marseille in the story. And it's a gorgeous car. I am not a big car guy, but I know beauty when I see it, and this car was exceptional. Thank you all for listening. This has been episode 1 of the Miscellaneous Film Festival podcast. Like I said, I had a lot of fun discovering new movies just by typing a single word in and seeing what came up. I highly recommend you guys check out these movies as well. I will have notes down below with links to my Letterboxd account so you can see what other movies I'm looking at. Check out some of my notes and reviews. I'll also put a link to the Facebook page where I will take screenshots or any bit of research I've done. I'll share a link there and pictures highlighting other actors I thought were really cool in the various movies. And I want to extend a special invitation to everybody listening. If you have an idea for a film festival, a series of, let's say, 5 or 6 movies that you think would be great to show as a group, let me know. You can email me at miscellaneous, abbreviated MISC, filmfestpodcast@gmail.com. That's MISC, filmfestpodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. Let me know what you'd like to do, or share with me a link to your Letterboxd lists. I will definitely be scouring Letterboxd to find groups of films for future mini film festivals. And with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow. And to highlight that, here's a bit from After Laughter Comes Tears by Wendy Renee from The Lady in the Car with Glasses and a Gun.